Some way, somehow, I stumbled across a TikTok account the other day that was clearly meant for a demographic just slightly younger than myself. It was the account for a content house called The Glow House. And basically, they make positive content that's supposed, I guess, to teach kids how to be a nice, good person at the most basic level possible. To the dismay of the children in the comment section who are insistent that, like, the world is hell and nothing the Glow House could ever do or say could ever make a difference, and they're stupid for trying. And how sad is it that kids by the age of, like, 4 now realize that the human race is a lost cause? And also how sad is it that they probably know how to type better than they know how to, like, write with a pen and pencil. Yeah, it's a bit sad. Do I know how to write? Write with a pen and pencil. Somewhere deep in my subconscious I wish I was ambidextrous, but it's not true. I can only write with a pen or a pencil. But anyway, you'll be glad that you sat through me saying all of this because it actually has absolutely nothing to do with the actual video. That's great, I know. But what made me bring up the Glow House is I have to admit it, I did scroll on their TikTok page for quite some time. I don't know how, but they had me hook, line, and sinker. Like, it's not that I was learning anything from their content necessarily. The only thing that I really found myself learning was the fact that, like, pages like the Glow House that are targeted at kids and are meant to be positive are trying to make some sort of comeback, which did heal my inner child a little bit. But then I learned one other thing, and it sent me spiraling. I just didn't expect to get so deep in my thoughts as an outcome of scrolling down the Glow House page, but basically, I learned about the existence of Mysterious Girl. Mysterious Girl.
Whoa, 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 mysterious girl.
Mysterious.
Whoa. Yeah, come on. Just let me be with the woman that I love. The woman that I love.
I discovered her through this video.
Yo! It's actually me, and I'm just excited to say I'm gonna be a part of the Glow House. Glow, more like show, because you guys are definitely going to want to tune in.
And I was just, from the first second, intrigued. This video, it left me wondering so many things about this girl. I was like, who is she? What is she doing here? Where did she come from? Where did she go? Is she Cotton-Eyed Joe? Is this the elusive Cotton-Eyed Joe? I mean, like, her name was no lie, okay? She was mysterious. She was shrouded in mystery. And I thought, like, did this content house invent, like, create this weird sort of character to be, like, a mascot for the house? I just didn't get it. And so, obviously, like, the social media addicted little vermin I tapped on Mysterious Girl's name. I was excited. I was more than prepared to jump down this random little TikTok rabbit hole. And I quickly discovered that her video on the Glow House page, it was actually a fair representation of how Mysterious Girl presents herself in every single one of her videos.
Your shirt says Kentucky, more like you can definitely tuck me in at night and our kids in the future. Yo! Today, guys, I'm gonna be teaching these random people how to be mysterious. I like to do this one. Yeah, I would kind of rate it like a 7. It wasn't that good. It wasn't as good as me. Alright, and then the next thing is, like, if any cute guy walks past, always just, like, catcall him. Okay. Good boy, come here. They say shoot or shoot. Paul too cute. What's up with you?
I don't think so.
Nerd. Well, you know what they say, when life gives you lemons.
And so now I was extra intrigued. The where did she come from thing was so strong in my brain. It was, what is she doing? I needed to know more about Mysterious Girl than what I was learning from her TikTok page. Although because of her name, I didn't really have much hope that anything would be available online. I mean, her name was literally Mysterious Girl. But still, I searched for her, I searched her name, and I wiped the sweat from my brow in relief when I realized that Mysterious Girl, or Mysterious Girl 7708 specifically, the 7708th Mysterious Girl, has a famous birthdays page. Thank goodness. And here I learnt that Mysterious Girl is considered to be the #1 most famous person born in Kentucky. Boys are from Kentucky, girls are from Jupiter. I didn't think that one through. Moving on to the exact same subject as before. Mysterious Girl is considered to be the #1 most famous person born in Kentucky. She trumps even Johnny Depp, Jennifer Lawrence, and Abraham Lincoln. And so this sparked more questions. How did she achieve this insane level of fame. Like, how did her name become so well known that the Hunger Games movies were wiped from existence? Because you'll see down here as well. Yeah, more popular than Josh Hutcherson. Bye-bye Hunger Games franchise. How did she become so popular that Abraham Lincoln's face in Mount Rushmore was carved back into the shape of a rock? How does this happen? Well, Famous Birthdays describes Mysterious Girl's content strategy using a sentence that would only ever exist from like 2024 onwards. Yeah, the new slang is real. It makes me feel old. But anyway, they said, Mysterious Girl is a digital comedian best known for her humorous impression of an awkward girl who tries to rizz up various individuals throughout her life. She posted her first TikTok video in July 2024. The upload was also her first to go viral, earning over 1.4 million views within only 6 months. So basically, Mysterious Girl is famous because skibbity toilet riz. And listen, the standard of journalism on this page is astonishing. It's almost beyond belief. Because this article, it also states, associated with, she tagged Logan Paul in one of her TikToks, and I was enthralled, so I had a look. And I do believe that they're actually talking about this TikTok, in which she is literally present in real life with Logan Paul and KSI. I mean, I guess she did tag Logan, like, he is tagged. They weren't entirely wrong, but I'd say that maybe there was something a little bit more notable to comment on. Like the fact that she literally did a Lunchly sponsorship in collaboration with Logan Paul and KSI, maybe? But either way, this article also confirmed something that I'd read in the comments when I was on Mysterious Girl's TikTok page. Like, there were some comments that read something along the lines of, like, I imagined it as, like, this old man taking a drag of his cigarette and going, like, listen, son, Mysterious Girl, she's not as mysterious as you think she is. Back in my day, she was known as plain old Julia Hill, just your regular old girl next door influencer. And then, like, you know, they slap their thighs and they stand up and they go, whap! And then you have to wait until the next scene to figure out more about Julia Hill. But instead of waiting until the next scene, I pressed play. Okay, I just went back to her TikTok page. I was like, okay, let me see if I can find out what Julia Hill is. Yeah, I think she's a person. And it was when I stumbled across this video that she'd sort of seemingly uploaded to the wrong account that it all hit home for me. Although, just for clarity, the caption reads, trying to have a glow up for my crush. So I think that even though the video, like this video that Julia posted on the Mysterious Girl page was clearly not meant with the intention of posting on the Mysterious Girl page, it was consciously uploaded there based on the description. So I guess people were saying that Julia's main account got banned or something and that's why she posted there. I don't know the Julia Hill lore. Anyway, I saw this video, right, and my neurons really started to fire because it was only after watching this video of Mysterious Girl just being girl.
Hey guys, get ready with me for bed at the Glow House. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the PDRN Pink Peptide Serum, which, guys, I'm using this because the Kardashians use this stuff and my skin has been so bad lately, so I really need this.
That I truly made the connection that Mysterious Girl to kids today is like say Fred or Miranda Sings to us kids of yesterday. And the kids of today hate it. I mean, read her comments, they literally hate it. And they're so mean about it because they're kids. I'd actually run and cry after reading some of these comments, like, I can't start laughing, ouch. And is this supposed to be funny? Yeah, it is. Oh, I wouldn't cope. But I mean, it's not all bad. There are some comments of people saying things like, I'm tired of pretending she isn't the funniest person to exist. And I don't care what you'll say, Mysterious Girl is so funny. So Mysterious Girl has fans. She has a level of popularity, but it's just like, when I compare the public response on the Mysterious Girl account in the comment section and everything to the public response, the love and adoration that characters of the past had received, I don't know, something just feels very different. I mean, like, around the dawn of YouTube, there were entire channels that were based around characters that people had invented, alter egos, you could call them. And they just got so popular, like, people ate them up and they asked for seconds and thirds. And so, like, these people wrote books in character. They released TV shows and movies and songs in character. They were beloved by the youths of ye old YouTube. And you know how people say like, oh, you know, one day you were picked up by your parents for the last time and you didn't even know it was the last time. And that brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? Well, one day we watched character skits on YouTube and we didn't know that we were witnessing the end of an era. Because when is the last time you've actually seen like a channel just based around a character, solely based around a character and the character's life and skits involving the character? It's been a really long time for me. And then of course, like, my overthinking kicked in and I just had to know everything about this. And this is your fair warning. use the chapters on this video. If you're not keen to like sit and listen to someone yap about their thoughts and their research on this silly topic for an hour or so, then skip ahead to the part you want to hear, because otherwise you're going to hate this video in about 5 minutes if you don't already hate this video because of the long-winded introduction. Please skip around if you have to. Like, I won't be offended. You don't have to sit and listen to me yap for hours, but you can if you'd like to. I will enjoy your company. So, but basically, okay, I just, my head started spinning. I was like, when did we stop seeing characters being as like prevalent as they used to be online? Why did that trend go up in flames? You know, am I old? Maybe I'm old. And so, as I always do when I have a question, I turned to Google. And this is what I found. Oh, for one, Google AI told me that being in your early 20s is typically considered to be young, which was nice. I kind of felt like Google AI was stroking my hair and telling me everything was going to be okay. But for two, I realized that I can't really answer the question of where online characters went, in my mind, if I haven't done a little digging into where exactly they came from. That's a good place to start, I feel like. And I think they may have evolved from the dinosaurs. So right off the bat, I was worried that researching this might be a little bit above my pay grade. Like, it's easy to make videos about things that I remember because I remember them, but to be honest, I didn't really consume this sort of character-based type of content when I was little. I just didn't enjoy characters on YouTube very much. No, not even Fred. I'm so sorry, Fred. The kids at school loved you, but I was just so much cooler than them that I couldn't get into it. Plus, I was probably too busy doing cool girl things on YouTube, like singing along to Toontown music videos and watching a Fifi and the Flower Tots theme song lyric video on repeat for hours on end to care about what Fred was doing, to be honest, because I was so cool back then. But on the subject of Fred, I always segue into topics so smoothly. I know you'd probably think that I'd sit here for hours just, you know, thinking, oh, how am I gonna move on to this topic? But it actually comes very naturally to me, which is great because it frees up more time in my schedule to listen to the Fifi and the Flower Tots theme song. But before we had masterpieces such as, you know, the Skibbity Toilet series, what else do kids watch? Ryan's toy reviews, and Zombies and Pepper at the City, Please Help George Pig, Peppa Pig funny animation, all that golden kids content, we had Fred. And Fred was huge. Not physically. He was actually quite average size as far as teenage toddlers are concerned. Pretty standard. Like, he fit through doorways fine and everything. Just for a good, didn't hit his head, nothing like that. Just to help you with your visualization. But the Fred's channel, oh, massive whopping channel. It doesn't sound too crazy now because people can, like, you can sneeze and reopen your eyes and have hit these numbers on modern internet. But the Fred channel was actually the very first YouTube channel to ever reach 1 million subscribers, which was so cool back in the day. And what exactly did Fred do to achieve that, you might be asking, if you lived under a rock back then and didn't know who Fred was? Or I guess that's not really living under a rock, that's just living a nice, peaceful existence, so congratulations to you. But anyway, he did this.
Hey, it's Fred! What's up, Homer G? If you're wondering why I'm acting rather extraordinary right now, it's because I haven't taken my pill. Don't tell my mom that I've lost my pill. Okay, well, about the babysitter, she's so annoying, and she just thinks she can boss me around. I mean, I've been trying to make her mad all night, like I purposely, like, peed on the floor. She, like, got so mad. She, like, overreacted. All I did was pee on the floor as a joke. I mean, my mom always laughs about that. But no, this girl was like, clean up your pee, and I was just like, shut up. My mom found this really cool pool at the dump. It's really big and really deep. I'm ready to go inside the pool. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, it's cold! I love swimming. Who is there?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock, knock.
I'm gonna squeeze you to death if you don't tell me who's there.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Who is there? Just tell me.
I feel like watching Fred is the best way to have it described to you, because I don't, like, chipmunk nightcore teenage toddler comedy, is that what I meant to call it? Like, I have no idea. And whatever he did it well. It earned Fred an album deal, a sitcom on Nickelodeon, a movie deal. He even wrote 2 books, which I was surprised to learn, because Fred doesn't strike me as the type of person to have the patience to, you know, like, sit down and write more than like 2 words at a time anyway. He's quite hyper, really. But that all begins to make more sense when you realise that Fred is not an actual person. No, I know, mind-blowing. You know, a person doesn't exist that actually speaks like that. You know, he acts like a dog that's just seen a squirrel 24/7. There's no way someone could have that much energy. Not in real life. Not in this life. No, so Fred wasn't real. He was actually, at the time of his creation, anyway, he was 13-year-old Lucas Cruikshank, who was playing the character of Fred Figglehorn.
I'm not even done.
You are? Why didn't you start earlier?
Well, I just have like 2 more things to say.
Okay, well, should we go downstairs while you do it?
Yeah?
Hey, you can go downstairs this season finish.
And I imagine having such a stroke of genius at the tender age of 13 years old. Like, to put it into perspective, this is the guy that invented Fred. The first YouTube channel to ever reach 1 million subscribers. This is him at the time. But how could we be so alike and yet have such different levels of intelligence? I don't get it, but either way, Lucas has been riding the success of Fred ever since his creation back in 2006. He originally started the Fred channel, like he made Fred videos, but he started the Fred channel in 2008, which is where he exclusively made and posted Fred content, as the name might imply. And eventually from there he moved on to creating videos on his own personal channel, which was humbly entitled Lucas. And it's so cool, he's still making videos to this very day, and like, you have nothing to be afraid of, okay? He is so much more tolerable as Lucas than he was as Fred. You should definitely go watch a Lucas Crookshank video, they're fun, I promise. But what's cool is that if you scroll down far enough on Lucas's channel, or if you just click the button that sorts videos from oldest to newest, but that doesn't sound as fun or exciting. Anyway, you'll realize that this channel, this Lucas channel, actually popped into existence back in 2009. And it was meant to sort of serve as a video blog for Lucas himself, because just playing a character wasn't really enjoyable for Lucas anymore. He wanted to do more and be himself.
The reason why I'm making this channel is because I want to do more characters than just Fred, because doing one character for like whole year gets kind of boring, you know, so you want to do other ones, but I'm still going to be doing Fred, so I'm not just going to abandon that, but I want to do other characters too. And I also might post some video blogs to tell you what I'm doing on this channel.
And that sort of was a theme amongst many characters of YouTube past. These people have almost never exclusively been known as their characters. Within time, they begin to put both their relatable side and their debatably annoying side online. I was trying to rhyme. It was a bad decision, but I kind of just stuck with it once I started. But take, for example, Miranda Sings. Miranda first appeared on YouTube in 2008, holding her face in a way that makes it look like she kind of just like stepped in dog shit, but she's trying to play it cool. Talking about the haters and singing badly, but funnily enough in a way that only a good singer could sing badly. You know what I mean?
All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. Hey baby, when you get home, just a little bit mister.
She went on shortly after this to make a music video, which was, so I can't throw shade at it. It was actually quite impressive for the time. Windows Movie Maker was serving people well back then, clearly.
You gotta make a big impression. I gotta like what you do. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. You gotta love me the right way, honey.
But Miranda eventually realized that her talent did not lie only in singing, but also in her eloquence and intelligence. And so around 2012, Miranda started making chatty, topical, talking head videos alongside her covers and music videos.
So I looked it up and did some research and found out some very scary news. I did not know this, but Chick-fil-A is in charge of who we get to marry.
That clip, that was from the beginning of this, chatty career, and this was a few months later.
Hey guys, it's me, Miranda. I am so excited. My friend Scott is here. As you know, we did a video together from the Penitence, and he was in it, and so he's really beautiful and talented and famous, kind of like me, so we're gonna sing a duet, so hit it, the track.
So she very quickly, developed that character at the speed of light. And I don't know if you're seeing it too, but maybe the beginning stages of Miranda, that's what Mysterious Girl really reminded me of. I think that's what sparked all of this in my brain, because just like Mysterious Girl and Fred, Miranda Sings, first name Miranda, last name Sings, was nothing but a character.
All right, how was the first shot of the day?
It's good, but it's hot.
I know, shocking. I like how I keep revealing these to you like I'm reading a bedtime story to a knowledgeless newborn baby. Like you're just gonna lose your shit. You're gonna gasp and run around holding your brain because of the massive plot twist I'm laying out in front of you. I really do hope you're enjoying that suspense. But anyway, Miranda Sings was a character, and I think she was meant to resemble the sort of caricature of delusional music is my passion type of singers that American Idol popularized. And Miranda was played by Colleen Ballinger, who the internet does not like very much anymore. But on the topic of this video, because that's not what we're talking about, Colleen, just like the others we've spoken about, alongside the Miranda Sings channel, also ran her very own, more serious personal channel. And on that channel, which was called Psycho Soprano, she posted vlogs, which kind of at the start just felt like home videos. Like, they were so low quality. They did have like a slightly higher production value than home videos. I don't know, something about it just felt like really cozy, I guess. I think it was that potato quality. You know, when you look back at old videos and you're like, oh, I can barely make out my face. That's so nostalgic. That's kind of the vibe it was giving. But in her vlogs, she'd go on to share like behind the scenes videos, bloopers from Miranda videos, and videos of her hanging out with Frankie and Ariana Grande and Liz Gillies, because that was a whole thing for a while.
I would listen to the radio all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. They never play it.
They've never played it.
This is a treat. I heard another song. I heard another song that they never play. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, they never played Someone Like You by Adele.
I've never heard that.
Well, that one, we all know that didn't get enough radio play, and that I have a huge issue with that. But the one, tonight. Yeah, they don't play that one either.
I love this part of Ariana's life. I'm so interested. I might make a whole video about it. I've already made a whole video about her relationship with a YouTuber if you'd like to watch that, but that was a while ago, so I can't make any promises about the quality. I never even liked the video I've made last week, let alone, you know, a couple months ago, but regardless. Eventually, Colleen moved those vlogs onto an entirely separate channel again, and she started using that main channel, Psycho Soprano, to upload like talking head videos and challenge videos and stuff like that once that genre really started picking up steam. I feel that was like 2014 times where you started seeing that really pop up. And to be fair to Colleen, unlike Lucas, I don't think she ever really got sick of playing Miranda. Her uploads definitely slowed down on that channel, but both of her careers were trucking along just fine years after her rise to YouTube stardom as Miranda. Throughout her career, like beginning in the late 2000s and onwards from there, she just did a fantastic job of keeping up with the times and the changing trends on YouTube and in general public consciousness, so she was actually doing really well. And over the years, those abilities allowed Miranda to go on multiple tours and write books, which she did while Colleen was, you know, like settling down, starting a family, and still making her own personal content on her two channels. So Colleen was kind of living a double life, and on the surface, it looked like she had everything figured out, like she was doing great. I mean, she somehow even got ins with JoJo Siwa. Celebrities just gravitated towards Colleen for some reason. Like, how did you make that connection? I just don't know. I know JoJo Siwa was like a YouTuber for a while, but it's just a weird cross. It feels like two different generations. But because of that, that meant that not only were like original viewers returning to Miranda's channel for that sense of nostalgia you get when you see an old YouTuber that you used to love, but new viewers from, like I said, a new generation were also being introduced. So Colleen was honestly on the path to being like an icon for a whole new generation of YouTube viewers, all the way up until 2023 when she was outed for being inappropriate with minors in a private group chat they were in together. And then she went on to release what is widely considered to be the worst apology video of all time, and also the most musical apology video of all time, which I don't know if those things have any correlation, but I'm thinking they might.
All aboard the toxic gossip train.
I don't know if whipping out the ukulele to say sorry for being an adult with a strange lack of boundaries is totally fitting. But moving on, I realized while I was researching, I was like, I'm missing someone, and then it hit me that Filthy Frank also fits the model, obviously, of a character-based channel pretty much perfectly, because that's what it was. I mean, you know, you gotta consider the fact that Filthy Frank's name is actually George, not legally Filthy Frank, and also the fact that he didn't act like a normal human being, even slightly, in any of his videos, which was pretty much the entire point of his channel.
So this is a story about middle school. Now, in middle school, I wasn't exactly the coolest kid on the block.
Sorry, I sound a bit blunt while I'm saying this, but I actually just am in awe that it took me so long. I almost finished the script before I realized, so I'm missing Filthy Frank. And Filthy Frank, similarly, should I just call him Frank? Like, similarly to Miranda Sings, he had an absolutely thriving career on YouTube as a character, well into the 2010s even. Eventually though, he started putting a heavy focus into creating music rather than creating videos. He was still doing it in character and still uploading videos, but they were just all music based. I mean, this is what I saw anyway. I didn't follow Filthy Frank. I just, that was his evolution as far as I'm concerned, as he started trailing towards music a little bit more. Still receiving millions of views, like people really enjoyed his music, but then he kind of disappeared. He entered the La La Land machine, and he popped out as Joji, to everyone's shock and surprise. Like, when I found that out, I was confused. I was like, okay, who lied on Wikipedia this time? Because that can't be true. But it was. It's true. It's Joji. Sometimes I look in her eyes. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my place. And thinking about it, George probably disappeared from YouTube right around the right time. Because it was around, what, 2019 maybe? That advertisers and viewers started to sort of pull back their support from, you know, problematic creators and problematic videos that used to be really popular back in the day, which a lot of Filthy Frank's content did sort of fall into. And similarly to Jenna Marbles, he's remained very well loved, I think, because he did step away at the right time. And listen, I don't know if that was luck or a stroke of genius or both, but George swerved to avoid the dead end that he was racing towards, and he ended up with a pretty great music career and also a pretty great legacy on YouTube as far as, you know, the average viewer is concerned. And what's funny is that his music career is not only very detached from his Filthy Frank character, but also from himself in real life. Like, Joji in all reality is just George playing another character. I find that kind of endearing. It's just his thing, isn't it? But basically, as far as character-based channels go, I'd say that Fred and Filthy Frank ended up in pretty much the sweet spot. Like, people still can tolerate them and they like them and they still have a career in the entertainment industry. Miranda Sings, though, I could not say the same about, so it hasn't worked out great for everybody. But was that the character's fault? No. And then, of course, there was a plethora of YouTubers that played, like, rage-baity characters on the platform. But I don't want to touch on that too deeply in this video, partially because I want to make a whole separate video about, like, the evolution of rage bait. I keep biting off more than I can chew, I think. But it's so fun. But also because I feel like while rage bait characters are technically characters, they're not really what I'm talking about. They're sort of same but different. Because I'd say that their primary form of content is rage bait rather than character acting. I guess because when you make that sort of rage baity content, you kind of want your character to be so believable that it makes people enraged, right? You want people to be like, this can't be real. And sometimes, honestly, it's not even entirely clear to people when someone is playing a character in that way. Like, some are so outrageous that it kind of just works. Like, the McJuggernuggets channel.
Shit, no, what happened? You were just over a little bit. I feel sorry. Dad, what are you doing, Dad? Dad! Leave it in there. What are you doing? You are.
But there are so many family accounts on TikTok that seem to be leaning into this whole, unfortunately, very popular genre of essentially being an unfit parent. And it's just hard to tell whether they're putting that on for, like, the views and the notoriety, or whether they really are that, like, dirty and lazy and uncaring. You know, they present themselves in this way and it's like, you've got to know what you're doing, but it's not entirely clear. So that, to me, I'm like, yes, they're playing a character, but it's rage bait content. Something else I wanted to mention was Titanic Fan 97. Content like that. I came across someone on Reddit talking about how they just had, like, this gut feeling that Titanic Fan 97 might be playing some sort of character. But I checked out his content, but only some of it. I don't know. I probably missed something.
We stumbled upon Trash Pandas in Largo, Florida. I've never been here before, but they had a lot of rare VHS in stock, like the sealed clamshell of Donkey on VHS. Do you smell that? It smells like James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster smash hit! Oh yeah, Titanic on VHS! No way, it's even sealed! I found this tape called New Jack City, but that's not the Jack I want. No. The Jack I want comes with cassette number 1 and cassette number 2! Take the voyage home, I think I will! Thanks for selling me my 1273rd Titanic! Whoa man, how cool!
But you just wouldn't be able to tell, like, if you stumbled across one of his videos, whether he was playing a character 100% or not without, like, enlisting a CIA agent or Secret Eater's spy to stalk him for a week to figure out what he's really like. So to me, like, yes, that's character, but if it's not abundantly clear. Oh, someone I've just thought about is Nikocado Avocado. He's definitely playing a character. But again, to me, that falls under rage bait. I don't know. Have I got this muddled? Tell me what you think down below. Is Nikocado Avocado a character channel or is it a rage bait channel? And then another idea that I think is worth sort of floating surrounding this topic are ARG channels. They're channels like Lonely Girl 15, if you remember that. They revolve around sort of portraying your normal everyday vlogger, and then they slowly develop a sort of creepy and yet believable storyline into those videos that usually involves heavy themes such as, you know, kidnapping, murder, and maybe a bit of, like, disgusting and unusual imagery, like gross aliens. It's a concept based off of alternate reality games, and it's essentially it's meant to be a web series, but disguised as vlogs, at least for some time. It normally becomes obvious at some point that you're not watching vlogs anymore, but they want you to think it's your bog standard YouTube content at the start of the channel. And on a similar but less unnerving note, there are creators who didn't really play an outrageous character, never, delved into the world of creepy horror, but also did not display their true selves on their channels. One channel that falls into that category is called The Wonderful World of Zoe. It was a reasonably popular channel over a decade ago now. I'm thinking like 2011 maybe. And Zoe turned out to be a girl called Mem Kennedy, who was simply playing the character of your average normal girl, Zoe, which is so weird to think about. I spoke about this more in my Janelle Eliana video, but Zoe? Yeah, Zoe's About Me section on YouTube, it literally read, I'm a girl from Australia, acting in America, and living in my head. Meet Zoe, an alter ego of YouTuber Mem Kennedy, and yet people were still shocked when Mem revealed that her name wasn't actually Zoe. And when she took everyone on like a tour of her bedroom and she said, oh, wow, this is just a set. And I think that shocked people so much because Zoe was relatable. There was nothing special or different about, well, that's kind of a mean thing to say, but like as far as YouTubers are concerned, she wasn't Miranda Sings. She was just some girl, so nothing in her videos would ever lead somebody to believe that she was playing a character. Why would you think that, But actually, what you could argue on this topic is that every single YouTuber that has ever existed on the face of this platform is playing some kind of character. And that's how I feel about that. In the same way, if you work customer service, you have your customer facing personality and then you have your like talking slight amounts of shit about customers as soon as they leave personality. They're two different people. Technically. And in that way, it's almost inevitable that YouTubers are going to put on some sort of front in their videos because they're in front of a camera. I think we learn from a very young age to act slightly differently when a camera is on, which is interesting, but like if you point a camera at, say, like a toddler, they might act a little more silly. You point a camera at a kid, they might, strike a pose or stick their tongue out at you. And if you point a camera at a young adult like Ariana Grande, they might adjust their posture as soon as they realize you're filming. Like everyone does it, I think, and even the little things they sort of add up so that you don't totally act like yourself when you're on camera. Like when it comes to YouTubers, sure, I'd wager that, Penguin Zero Charlie, he probably doesn't speak in his videos the exact same way that he speaks in real life all the time. And Jacksepticeye, he probably doesn't talk to himself throughout every second of every single video game that he plays unless he's filming. And Kelly Wakasa probably doesn't do this.
But you know what's next on my routine?
When he wants a coffee, if a camera isn't facing him. And think of a YouTuber, think of pretty much any YouTuber like Tana Mojo, Trisha Paytas, Curtis Connor, even Jenny Nicholson or someone real casual. And like Jake and Logan Paul, KSI, the more outrageous people. Viewers sort of expect them to present themselves in a certain way when they're on camera. And they play into that. Or at least they did at some point. Like I think Tana Mojo has matured a lot. I think she's actually doing quite well. The last I heard of her, Trisha Paytas, I don't really keep up with. And even like Jake and Logan Paul have changed, but definitely in everyone's heyday, I guess you could say, they definitely had a persona that was recognizable as theirs in a way that most people walking around in everyday real life do not have, because they would have played up that side of themselves for the camera and because of editing and stuff like that. Like Curtis is a comedian. He's got a bunch of sound effects that pop up when he talks, and he's expected to be endlessly funny. His video is very stimulating mentally.
Baby, just say yeah. That's right, Lifetime, in their infinite quest to shove holiday slop into the mouths of middle-aged women all over the world, released a movie called Christmas in the Spotlight.
But not every sentence that ever comes out of Curtis's mouth in real life is going to be a side splitter. He doesn't walk around with like a stream deck. He doesn't walk into a supermarket and play the applause sound effect and then like the cashier can't scan something. He's like, oh, that's free, is it? And then he plays the laugh soundtrack. It's not real life. So is it a character? Maybe. But the thing is that these characters, right, they're tied in with the person and they can grow and change over time as well. And to me, character-based channels seem a lot more stagnant. They're normally pretty stuck in time. Like they stay about the same age. They act the same in every video essentially. And so to me, that means that this idea of YouTubers all playing characters doesn't align with the overarching idea that I'm trying to pinpoint in this video. Because I don't think that just the act of, being an entertainer, creating content, choosing to display certain sides of yourself online counts as playing a character. Because like Fred, Miranda Sings, Mysterious Girl, when you see them, you're almost immediately aware that they are playing a character. You can tell that they're putting on a performance, right? You have that immediate recognition, and that recognition is immediate because they want it to be. They've made it that way. They've made it so you can recognize that they are playing a character, one with, you know, like a different name than their own, a different style of speech, a different fashion sense, and so on. And they never really break character because that would be weird. Like, imagine Monica in Friends if she introduced herself as Courtney Cox one day. Everyone would be like, huh? And we know that Monica is Courtney Cox, because we're not stupid. But the reason that would be weird is because Monica is a character in her own right that has her own identity, that doesn't cross into the real world and the real person that's playing her into their identity at all. They are two separate entities living in two separate worlds. Those are the kind of characters I'm talking about, I think. Like main characters. They said, I'm going to create a channel for me because I'm important and I matter and it's all about me. And what I realized while I was researching for this video was something that actually really surprised me because I just thought they were more prevalent. But really, I could only think of 3 channels that perfectly fit into this box that I was putting like character channels into, and it was Fred, Miranda Sings, and Filthy Frank. I mean, there are definitely other ones that I just am not aware of or just can't think of. Like there was one I came across that was called Kyle Monkey. He was around near the very beginning of YouTube, and I think he was kind of going for like Jim Carrey got his hands on vlogging equipment. Kyle's videos were very random. They could be quite crude as well, and they were very consistent in that. I think it's safe to say that Kyle Monkey was a channel that was based entirely around an alternate personality, some kind of character.
No, man.
I never heard of it before looking into this, so there must be more that I'm missing. But either way, considering the popularity of these channels that we have discussed, I was just surprised to realize that the people that I mentioned, like I tried to look for more and I was like, there's gotta be more, and I couldn't find much. They were only, you know, a few out of a small pond of creators that did this sort of thing. Not that many people actually made an entire alter ego to base a channel around. I don't know, maybe it seemed like too much work. But my question sort of became like, was this so sparse, such a sparse thing that when those creators died out, those types of content creators literally just stopped existing? Like, do they just not exist anymore? And I think, to be fair, the answer is like not entirely, because they're not entirely still there, but they're not entirely gone either. Listen, on this subject especially, I'm very aware that my algorithm keeps me encased in this sort of little content bubble. And the thing is, like, I've never been a fan of characters online, right? Like spanning back to my childhood. And so why would my social medias feed them to me? You know what I mean? And so because my brain wouldn't suffice and my algorithms wouldn't suffice either, I went on a character hunt. I was determined to find some more characters. So first I scoured the internet. I was searching for mentions of, you know, popular characters of today's time. And as far as YouTube goes, I couldn't really find anything that sort of perfectly fit into my description. Now I'm thinking like Nikocado Avocado and stuff like that, but I don't know. There is a storyline there, technically. I mean, maybe. And TikTok was also difficult for me to dig into. There are just so many, I mean, on YouTube, there are tons of creators, but on TikTok, I feel like everyone and their mother has a TikTok account. I can't keep up. And listen, I'm sure, honestly, that there are plenty of TikTok accounts that are based around people playing some sort of outrageous, boisterous character. Or even not an outrageous, boisterous character, like just a character. But I really genuinely couldn't find much myself that fit into that category that like Miranda Sings and Fred fit into. But they do exist. Like I was thinking maybe Nara Smith would work. Well, no, she wouldn't work. She's a stay-at-home mother, actually. But because, you know, if you know Nara Smith, you know that she's sort of putting on the persona of a trad wife. She acts like a traditional wife with an entirely calm life and all the free time in the world. You know, she calmly makes everything from scratch and she talks like this because she's so calm. And my understanding is that Nara, in her videos, is kind of making a mockery out of content creators that actually portray themselves in that way. Like she's trying to make a commentary on how unrealistic and stupid it seems. But I've never seen Nara break character. Her account is, as far as I'm aware, based around that character, and so I guess that fits the bill. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong, but now that I'm sitting down and thinking about this, I swear, like I could swear to you, not that I ever would, I'm far too polite for that, I could almost fucking swear that there are people on TikTok making videos very similar to Miranda Sings' original music videos, and sort of like playing off the irony of the fact that like, it's bad, you know what I mean? Like trying to be cringy on purpose and lip syncing to songs and stuff like that. I don't know of any examples, but like I've seen it. So just another thing to add to this discussion. I keep getting brainwaves. Like, I'm truly passionate about this topic. I hope you understand that.
So okay, now that I'm gone, say my system is overloaded. Girl, what's wrong with you?
But either way, I kind of felt like I was still empty-handed after all of that. So I waddled on down to YouTube Kids, which was the first time in my life that I've ever had to lie about being younger than 18 to create an account for something. But I just figured that I'd have better luck finding a character-based channel on a website that was specifically cultivated for kids, because I feel like kids are just more intrinsically drawn to the likes of like Fred and Miranda Sings and like the random crude humor of Kyle Monkey, although I'd really hope that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube Kids. I've probably seen worse. And what I found on YouTube Kids is that YouTube Kids is definitely still YouTube Kids. I mean, just take a look at these thumbnails. They're so fucking weird. I mean, all of them except for this one with a little hamster in it. He's just like cutie patootie. He's okay. But like Mr. Beast was there for some reason. Mr. Bean as well, although something about him looks a bit off. And then the Maddie B Raps channel I discovered is still going strong. I had no idea. Good for him, I guess. But I don't think he was, like, I don't think he starred in it or sang in it. I think he's too old now. Maybe he, like, directs and produces or whatever. But either way, it came out of left field for me. I found it was crack up. When I realized what I was watching, I was, oh my god, Maddie B. But I also stumbled upon, the Haschak sisters, and I like vaguely remember them. I think I've heard of them before, and so I googled them. And these were some of the related search queries. Yes, that does say, are the Haschak sisters adopted? You can't make this stuff up. I loved their videos, by the way. But to my surprise, even on YouTube Kids, I didn't come across one singular character-based channel. Unless you count like Miss Rachel as being a character, I don't know. To me, that's greater than that. Like at that point, that's a TV show. There's a very like intricate criteria to be a social media character. Wasn't there a Michaela that was like an AI, like a VTuber, or what was her name? Little Michaela. Where she's literally just AI. So is she like the new and improved version of a YouTube social media character? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that, I suppose. But what I did see though was a selection of honestly highly produced videos made starring kids for kids, for the viewing pleasure of the children of today, such as this one of the Hulk transforming children into scary giggly monsters because he thinks they don't like the color green, and this one, which is essentially just a remake of H2O Just Add Water for children who have no concept of what a TV show is, and also was probably just an excuse for dad to take the boat out on the water. And like, yes, these kids, these people, they're all playing characters, but it's for some kind of web series, you know, not just for the sake of creating their own silly little alter ego. I'm looking for something more basic than this. But I think that the fact that nothing is really basic online anymore, like we have the AI influencers and essentially TV series, you know, high quality, well, higher quality than like 2009 web series being produced, characters like Mr. Beast that are just real people playing up certain character traits like being really loud.
I am currently on an island infested with snakes! But I'm visiting way deadlier places.
I think that's a hint as to what exactly has led character channels to being sort of wiped from existence. And it's less that they've been wiped from existence, and it's more that they've been replaced. Like, they're not extinct. They've evolved. Channels based around alter egos in the way that Fred and Miranda Sings were, they've become outdated online. Just plain and simple. And I think the changes that made character channels mostly irrelevant were happening gradually over many years on YouTube and on social media, and they've left basically no room for audience interest in that type of content. Deep90 on Reddit said it perfectly when they wrote, early YouTube was all about making whatever you could with a camera and whatever you had on hand. Like Dude Perfect as an example, there were just a couple of dudes making shots. There was zero production value in pretty much anything. And it was that fact, I think, that allowed, you know, skit videos filmed in 240p shaky cam to become so popular between the years of, say, like 2006 through till 2010, 2011, 2012 even. Because there was no expectation then when it came to production quality or audience engagement or click-through rate. Nobody thought about those things. YouTube at that stage was a platform that was literally meant to be nothing more than just a bit of fun for the creators on there, and so the creators had fun. They filmed loosely scripted videos with their friends as an excuse to like play fight or just kill some time. Or they'd sit alone in their bedroom making goofy content and acting as if they were that annoying little kid from school or a wannabe American Idol contestant. And there was no thought of millions of people being able to watch, to being able to access these videos. And these creators, they included like copyrighted songs and rude humor in their videos because there was no such thing as monetization to worry about either. They simply made that content because it was fun for them to make. No underlying expectation, nothing. Just fun. And channels that sort of spring to my mind that were created in the earlier days of YouTube for no other reason than the fun of creation and expression are channels like Smosh and Negahiga. Something else that continuously popped into my mind while I was thinking about this topic was Rolanda from Wasabi Productions.
Hi, my name's Rolanda. Ooh, did you hear that? That can only mean one thing. Oh! Anyways, it means... Richard, stop it! I heard it the first time!
Richard! I told you to stop the first time! I told you to stop the first time! Think about what you're doing, Richard.
If you couldn't tell, Rolanda is not a real person, but is instead Roy Fabito in a wig with a vivid monobrow. The difference between Fred and, Miranda Sings and Wasabi Productions, why I didn't mention them earlier, is the fact that Wasabi Productions was essentially a collective of friends that dedicated their channel to playing a variety of characters, not just one character. And so none of their characters truly had their own internet presence outside of the Wasabi Productions channel. Like they didn't have their own channel, their own Instagram account, whatever. For example, Wasabi Productions also featured Rolando, the Explorer, and a multitude of other characters that were just topical to the video that they were making at the time. Wasabi Productions burst onto the scene around 2008, and they were clear participants in old YouTube. Their videos, I think, were comparable to others of the time, like Smosh and Hahaha, the ones I mentioned. And then moving along, Wasabi Productions made their fair share of parody videos, which also have very much gone out of style. I kind of touched on that in my Bart Baker video. But somehow, even though they were so involved in, old, early YouTube, I think that Wasabi Productions still represents the changing tides of character and video creation on YouTube to a T. Because as YouTube evolved as a platform, we know so did YouTubers. And as a result, the Wasabi Productions channel became Alex Wasabi. That's what it's titled now. And to be clear, this shift in content, channel focus, persona, it was not exclusive to only Wasabi Productions. Almost every old school YouTuber that you could think of has even been, bending themselves to shape into a new mold as more trends form online and audiences change. Or they've fallen off trying, even someone like Shane Dawson, you can see his, I know we don't like him very much, he went from, say skit videos to challenge videos to conspiracy theory videos. These people are always trying to keep up. But it's not only content that's changed over time either, it's personalities as well. A bit of a niche, Kiwi example is Jamie's World. She started posting on YouTube in 2012. She did a bit of parody music video stuff, and she grew an audience who really enjoyed watching the way she portrayed herself, which was, she came off as very funny and energetic and enthusiastic, and she had these short videos with ukulele music blaring in the background. It was all, the videos were very of their time.
Shout out to Spike Apparel. No, Spiked. Spiked with a D. No, you'll get that later. I'll put their website link in there in the description box thing. You know how it works. So basically this video is going to be me filming it and my experiences for my first school ball. Let's go. This is what we're using, isn't it, what all the blogs do?
But as the years went on, Jamie sort of allowed herself to mellow out on her channel. I think she stopped bringing that sort of character almost, and she started to seem like more of just a friend, she kind of, watching her newer videos, which are still from 6 years ago, but they're newer, it kind of feels more like you're chatting with a friend.
Well, hello guys, is my mic on? I always forget. So, I actually have some pretty cool news to tell you. Ow. Some pretty cool news to tell you. Well, news kind of thing. I have this thing to tell you. But basically, there's this thing called Uni Days, and they asked me if I could tell you guys about them. So I am.
And so I think that Jamie's World, as it began, Jamie was essentially a character that fit into the mold of 2012 YouTube perfectly. And then slowly, as trends changed, she sort of boiled down to just being Jamie, because that was all she needed to be. It wasn't cool to be a character anymore, you know what I mean? And it's just interesting. Even people that didn't really put on a character, I'd say Zoella was pretty standard in all of her videos. I mean, now she just vlogs, she just takes people along in her life. PewDiePie doesn't make those big, explosive gaming videos anymore. Again, he sort of vlogs, he chats to the camera, it's just how YouTube works right now. And some of these people's evolution obviously can be attributed to maturity and life changes. I mean, they've grown up, some of them have become parents, things change, but I do think still that it's very much representative of the way that audience expectations have sort of shifted over the years. Audiences, I think, just kind of became jaded, they were constantly being inundated by these perfect influencers and creators with perfect lives and perfect polished content, and they didn't want to see that anymore. So relatability and realism became very highly valued amongst viewers who were sort of sick of comparing themselves to all of these people online that seemed so perfect. As much as creators grew up, audiences did too, and suddenly, they wanted to see real people living their real lives. They didn't want to see all that bullshit fake stuff. And this was around the same sort of time. I don't know, I guess there's correlation maybe, but it was social media sort of moved on from the times of MySpace and Tumblr, when those platforms were really prevalent, and it was, you know, the internet was a place for self-expression and discovery and stuff like that, and things sort of became more about conformity, you know, suddenly it was Instagram and the filters, and I don't know, like, it wasn't cool to be uncool or alternative or anything like that, you know, there's still those niche spaces, but generally if someone that's not meant to be there stumbles across it, they're like, what? But I think, in general, social media has become more solely focused on connecting with others in a way that characters just sort of don't allow for. And so vlog channels and character channels, things that were historically kept separate, slowly became one and the same because that's what viewers wanted to see. And so two personalities merged into one. And this sort of like newly formed horde of relatable YouTubers who maybe still wanted to express their creativity, they served to form a new genre, which was not entirely different from characters of the past, but it just had a few tweaks. And these I think are like your II Superwoman IIs, Lily Sings, or your Jenna Marbles' and Liza Koshy's of YouTube. It was like, rather than having an entire channel dedicated to playing a character, YouTubers just began to integrate those characters into their main channel content. And rather than having these real bizarre characters, they almost started to sort of play exaggerated versions of themselves, or of, you know, people you might have gone to school with, people like parents, like exaggerated versions of parents. So it was either they were playing themselves but like exaggerated, or they were playing these like nameless characters that had a focus on relatability for both the creator and the viewer. It was as if the YouTuber was pretty much saying like, look, I experienced this and I bet you do too. For example, Lily Sing made videos like types of kids at school and the struggles of having long hair, which I did click on at the time because my hair was down fucking low as. I didn't realize how long it was though. So this is the final look. I'll give you a full 360 and then I'll keep doing it so I look like that seal vine. Great. And then Jenna Marbles, she produced stuff like I Hate Being a Grown Up and How to Mildly Annoy Other People. And then you have Liza Koshy, she made videos like Mixed Kid Problems, Growing Up Multicultural, and I've Gone Mad, What Makes Us Angry. And these videos did follow a similar strategy to character-based channels in the sense that they were meant to document the real life experiences of these characters that they were portraying. They weren't set in another universe or anything like that. They had a level of relatability, but the difference was that in these videos there was an implication that the topic and the content was meaningful in the lives of the creators themselves. It felt like the creator themselves had written the skit and was presenting it to you, not like it was random and detached. Like these influencers might have made a how to get ready for school video, and they would have included things like your alarm going off when you're half asleep, and like, you know, you trying to decide what to wear because you didn't pick it the night before, and you thinking, oh, I really don't want to go, and maybe I'll be sick today. And you know, something like your mum rushing you out the door before you can even finish breakfast. They might include stuff like that in a funny sort of skit. Whereas Miranda Sings made a video called Back to School Makeup Tutorial that went something like this.
This will attract the men. It's kind of like the bird species where you want to have bright colors to attract them. So I'm trying to attract them in for school. I love school. I'm always the most popular, most beautiful, most talented, everything at school. I love being homeschooled. It's really fun. So every time I do my makeup like this, my uncle says I look beautiful. So I'm just saying.
So a bit chaotic, right? A bit unrealistic. And you know, Fred made a video about how kids at school were spreading these awful rumors about him and how he handled it. And again, totally unrealistic.
It turns out that all of the other boys and girls at my school did not spend the Christmas break like I did. Who just happened to spread mean, untrue, liar-type rumors about me to everyone in the school. I don't know why they did it. I really don't. I have friends all over the school that will do anything, and I mean anything, to get answers for their boss and CEO, Mr. Figglehorn. All right, come in, Falcon. Who did this to me, man? Who did it?
Fred, I have some bad news.
So it's clear that one of these forms of videos is built around entertainment because of relatability, and the others are built based around entertainment because of lack of relatability. And the latter honestly just stopped working as well as it used to. Like, people just wanted to watch and interact with people, not with these characters anymore. It just became less fun for the viewer, I suppose. And since that point, maybe like 2012-ish on YouTube, it's gone even further than that. Now, rather than having videos based entirely around skits like videos used to be back in those days, you know, skits and sketch comedy were the main focus. That's what made people click. I guess YouTubers that like to exercise their creative muscles in that way tend to work them into videos revolving around entirely different topics, which you'll see on channels like Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden and Curtis Connor and Chad. They don't make skit videos, but they put skits in their videos. And yet the majority of their videos are just them talking to a camera, because that's what people want to see and that's what connects them to these people, so that they will sit through those skits and they will say, oh my god, this creator is so funny. Captain Disillusion is a channel that I came across that did heavily focus on, from what I could see, the world and character that the channel is based around, Captain Disillusion. But again, his videos have an overarching topic. They're about debunking viral videos by pointing out visual effects that the creators use to produce them. And the reason people are using this method is because it's smart. It serves both the current algorithm on YouTube and the current audience on YouTube very well. But it also entirely removes the need for character-based channels when you think about it. And you could argue that some characters really do still exist on YouTube, and it's not that I don't think they do. Like, honestly, all of this might be for the best. Like, are we really lacking that much in losing sort of very popular character-based channels? I'm not sure that we are. When it all boils down to a very simple fact, I've said it before, but YouTube and its content and its creators, they've evolved. There's expectations on this platform now. For example, when you click on a video, you are expecting a level of professionalism. It's kind of to the point where the only acceptable bad content is the so good it's bad type. There's no room for anything else, it seems. Like, if you make truly bad content, you know, pointless stuff that you've made for fun on a webcam, kind of what old YouTube used to be like, you can almost guarantee that the wrong people are going to find it and you're going to get bullied, unfortunately. It's not a nice place to be. And like, for example, if the Kardashians weren't famous, you have no idea how hard they'd be ripped apart for those homemade music videos they've made. Like, if people found them now and they weren't famous, oh, the memes. And it's almost a shame, really, because I know times change, but it's not really in the spirit of the platform, is it? It's not the way it was intended to be anymore. Everything nowadays, to be fair, this is off topic, but everything seems so corporate and so, like, money hungry. I know that businesses have always needed money. It's no different. But I don't know, it just feels like everything wants your money. And they act like it too, like all the shops being painted black. Like, I don't want to go in there. What are you going to do to me in there? It used to be fun when you were painted like pink or yellow or whatever. Now you're black. You're scary. You've changed. And in that vein, as far as YouTube goes, it almost feels like the platform is leaning towards being more like TV rather than having that homemade sort of feel that used to permeate the site, and that's what was so enticing about it in the first place. But as far as this topic in particular goes, I guess audiences sort of grew to prefer relatable content over content that sends a shiver of secondhand embarrassment down your spine, and so vlog channels prevailed and characters were left nearly abandoned. People like Curtis Connor and Chad pick them up out of the garbage skips and they're like, oh sweetheart, I'll take you home, I'll give you a job, you can star in my 30-minute video for 30 seconds, okay? And on top of all of this, it kind of ties into the fact that everything wants your money now and whatever, but kids content has changed. Honestly, I'd say in general nowadays there are less spaces online for kids, although I'm not sure that many of the social media spaces we used to have were great for kids anyway, but at least we were safe on like Club Penguin, you know, when we first started on like Club Penguin, Pop Tropica, they weren't begging for our money. That happened later down the line. They always wanted your money, sure, but they weren't like every single time you logged on or like walked into a shop or whatever, they're like, please, click on the ad. And it seems that even on YouTube Kids, creators have largely abandoned character-based channels in favor of producing skits similar to the likes of Lily Sing skits, like this one entitled When Your Parents' Breath Stink. Funny. I don't fully blame them, to be fair. I think there's probably more reach, for one, in making that sort of content. Like, you're more likely to be able to become relatable to a large group of people and get more clicks that way. And also, I think it allows for more variety in your content, and it makes you sort of the star of the content, so people might come to like you, and then you've got a career built around yourself online, which is always quite beneficial. And then if I focus in on TikTok, I mean, there's no absence of characters on that platform, I wouldn't say. I remember mentioning Nara, of course, mysterious girl. But I just don't know, like, my For You page is very much one-off funny videos and food and family and home renovation sort of content. I can't really comment on anything else because I don't see it. I'm just not on that side of TikTok, I guess. I did recently hear about Mei Lung from an Amy Robinson video, I think it was. Mei Lung has been accused of practically cosplaying as a rich person. People have even said that she's changed her last name, potentially to avoid being associated with like scams and controversies that were in her past. But again, I don't know if that's an intentional attempt at playing a character or if it's just an example of someone who is fame focused and hasn't made the best choices historically. I will say though, my understanding is that the POV scene on TikTok is thriving. Like, I've seen some accounts purely based around making POVs. And if you don't know POVs, POVs, they're basically fictional stories ranging from like POV, your crush bullies you in the hallway, to like POV, you live in a world where your soulmate is picked for you the day you turn 18. I don't know. You could also talk about those relatable TikTok accounts, like Mr. Prada is the one that I know about, and I guess they could fall into that character-based skit format of maybe like later YouTube, 2012-ish era. I guess definitely in Mr. Prada's case he was playing a character because he made all those, you know, relatable TikToks, but neither once did he make one about, oh, sometimes you just want to kill your therapist. But all jokes aside, if you didn't know about that, Mr. Prada, yeah, did that. It's a tragic and terrible situation. I still am in awe that something like that has happened. Like this sentence from a news site, it says, Tyrion Thomas, 20, a TikTok personality known as Mr. Prada, was charged in connection with a homicide, and that's just like the craziest, most 21st century thing that I've ever read in a news article, and it's just like, it's sad that that's reality, you know what I mean? But on the subject, I always go off topic in my videos. On the subject of accounts based around characters, I think it would be silly of me to not mention as well the rise of, NPCs on TikTok. And no, TikTok did not make a video game. I'm gonna read something to you about this because I can't even find it in myself to explain what this means. An article on theconversation.com reads, non-playable characters or NPCs are taking TikTok by storm. NPCs originated in video games. They are the background characters, the ones with repetitive movements and sayings and no storylines. The main playable character can interact with them, but only in limited ways. NPC content rapidly gained popularity in recent months as creators like Pinky Doll have been live streaming as NPCs. NPC creators perform scripted lines and reactions to purchase gifts from their fans that then appear on screen as emojis. So if I was an NPC, I don't know what I'd be. I'm just here to yap. It takes more creativity than I thought, actually. I don't think I'd be cut out for the whole NPC thing, but I'll show you how it works as well from like actual creators that actually do it and make loads of money from it, actually. Very lucrative, this whole NPC thing is.
Tap, 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 tap. Hi there. Hi there. So strong.
Thank you for the corgi. We'll put it with the rest. Thank you for the time.
I win car.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
For the perfume.
Groovy notes, groovy notes, groovy notes, groovy notes.
A rose for me. Thank you.
So basically what happened with this whole trend is people saw an easy way to make money and they jumped at it. Everyone and their mother and their goldfish was live streaming as an NPC on TikTok. I can't even lie to you, I thought about it. I wouldn't have done it, but like, did it cross my mind? Same as like selling feet pics, you know what I mean? It's, well, I could. But I guess the easiest way that I can think about it is I consider TikTok NPCs to be similar to the human statues, the street performers. You know, you put like $1 in their hat or their jar and they like tip their head at you, or they bow. It's like those fellas. And I mean, there's no denying that creators on TikTok that are acting as NPCs are playing characters, no matter how different those characters may be from the ones that you may be used to watching after growing up on, say, like Fred or Miranda Sings. So I thought they'd be worth a mention. I don't know how well they tie in. I am interested to hear what you consider to be characters online now, because I know that there are characters. Okay, so what have we learned today, class? We've learned that there are still characters on the internet, and Talia was a wee bit silly, and she jumped to conclusions. Yeah, that's what we've learned. And to be fair as well, listen, I was a bit dramatic when I first saw this whole Mysterious Girl TikTok. Like, public perception of character channels has always been split down the middle, despite my initial shock at the negative comments on Mysterious Girl's page. I don't know what got into me that I was so, like, flabbergasted. Oh, people don't like annoying things? Some people are annoyed by things that other people aren't annoyed by. I mean, I kind of forgot that listen, I never commented anything mean. I wasn't that type of girl, but I didn't even really like Fred or Miranda Sings or like Superwoman. I didn't like skits. Characters in skits were never really something that I was interested in watching, and I was not alone. Like, on a Reddit thread entitled, "Do you remember watching Fred on YouTube as a child?" one comment read, "I distinctly remember not watching this guy, so annoying." And that was not an unpopular opinion as far as I could see. Pretty much the whole time I was scrolling and everyone was like, annoying, annoying, annoying. And then on another thread, someone wrote, "Anyone who can take Fred for more than 60 seconds is not actually human." I don't know if they meant in a fight or what. The way they phrased it, I was picturing them like wrestling in a ring. But then either way, Fred must have gotten this guy's account suspended because he no longer exists on Reddit. Revenge is sweet, I suppose, isn't it, Fred? Miranda Sings got her fair share of hate comments as well, to the point that she literally dedicated like a segment of her video in each of her videos. Her videos were like 4 minutes long and the hate comments were like 30 seconds long, but she read a hate comment in every single video and they were not nice.
You beep 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 LOL means laugh out loud, not lots of love. I hate you and go beep your beep beep beep. Gotta be pilling.
really rude, really bad hater today, so getting a lot of hate mail, so please stop, only nice comments.
So basically, kids have always been mean, people have always been judgmental, and I had rose-colored glasses on. I'm sorry, but this was a fun rabbit hole to jump down, wasn't it? So I don't know, genuinely, do you follow any like character-based channels? Because I couldn't find many, and I know they exist. And like, were you a big fan of those channels growing up? Because I wasn't. But it was really interesting to see how they evolved with YouTube. Everything changed, and so did that. So that was actually really cool to learn about, like the way that relatability sort of took over, and the way that, oh, I'm such a nerd with this sort of stuff. We just talk about it forever and ever, but I will stop, okay? I won't keep you here any longer. I'm so sorry. I'm just a bit of a yapper. Right, let me get out of here. I do really, truly appreciate your time. Every time, especially when I see like a familiar name in the comments section, I'm like, oh, you came back. You are crazy. What are you doing here? You know what I mean? But I really, truly appreciate you being here and, you know, not even learning anything. I don't know if we learn anything. I think it's just fun to take like some time out of your life to just be a little silly. And not everything in life has to be so serious. So I hope you had fun. You know, reliving some old memories and seeing how times change and feeling old. If you're anything like me, you feel old. I feel old. But I'm gonna go edit this video now. So thank you so much for being here. Have a lovely, lovely day. And I will see you next time, maybe, if you want to be here. Okay, see you later. Bye. Bye.